So today we're going to be talking about equestrian marketing. So I've talked a lot about this on my social media recently, and it's caused a lot of stir because I'm pretty passionate about it, or intense. As I told you, I'm trying to be not as intense. I'm working on it. But as a media agency owner, I definitely have a lot to say about this, and we're going to get into it today. We're going to dive ins and outs, pros and cons, and the things that these brands should be doing and shouldn't be doing. So let's get into it.
Okay, so you have been in marketing forever. Well, I guess like photography, the artsy side, you've always been a seller of a product, whether it be your own photos or videography, and now you are helping other businesses expand. So you have been in the business side of things as far as services, kind of commercial side. So you started to break into the equestrian market little area about a year or two ago.
Yeah.
What is that? You said originally that you were kind of doing it just to feel out like what people wanted and kind of to help your business commercially. But what have you learned about equestrian marketing, and what do people want to see, and what's just like not working out there?
Yeah. So loaded question. We're playing footsie. Loaded question. That is for sure. So I think, yes. So I graduated with a fine art degree in photography, and my entire family is entrepreneurs. So I knew coming out of school, I wanted to start my business. And so I had my photography business for about 8 years. Yeah. And then I started the marketing side. And really it was just branded content, meaning that like I was just shooting for businesses and brands. And I just turned it into a full-blown agency. And through my photography career, my business, I hosted workshops all over the world. So it wasn't just a wedding photography business. It was really it was just its own thing, and you
were teaching other people really how to get into that,
how to build their
wedding
businesses,
venue
and how to become better artists, and creativity, and just being,
You've always been into sharing your message, and
for sure,
kind of what works and what doesn't.
Absolutely. So, I was making the shift out of weddings, really pre-2020, and then 2020 hit, COVID hit, and I went into it full force. So I still have some of my clients that I, got then that I do now. And so it's kind of crazy. It's turned into something bigger than I ever imagined. And I'm just so thankful that I took the leap. It was terrifying, and it kind of just happened, and I just didn't know if this was like a fate thing or what was happening. So, now 2025, and we've
4 years already, 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. And I opened the equestrian side about 2 years ago. And like I said, I've said this before, originally it was just to kind of like test things out. And I didn't really know, like, to be like, quite frank, like what the fuck I was doing. And so I needed a space that I could just kind of
feel it out.
Yeah. Feel it out, like creatively dump and like kind of just do things that I felt instinctively were going to work. Yeah. So that kind of launched KB Media Equine. And I really didn't do a whole lot of research into the equestrian marketing realm, because I really just was making it like a test. And then once it kind of formed a life of its own, I decided like, okay, like this is obviously like, second nature to me. I've been riding my whole life. And it just seemed like, and I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but like, it just felt like a move in my life that was like
just there,
the perfect fit. And so, so I started down that path, and the more that I learned about other brands and businesses that I would like to work with, the more it opened up like the reality that the equestrian and marketing world just is in a complete disarray.
Why do you think that is?
I think that the equestrian market as a whole has really has really banked on their reputation.
Like word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
Word of mouth reputation. And that's what has carried them for a very long time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this new generation that is coming up will not be the same. The technology is advancing way too quickly. People are relying on technology way too much. And that is just the way marketing is going.
Yeah,
you
true.
have to, you have to stay relevant in today's market or you will die.
Yeah. Word of mouth is no longer really.
And I think word of mouth, and I'm sure everybody has kind of like seen this through their local tax stores or, brands that, seem to seemingly pop up overnight.
Yes.
So,
so many Instagram ads for different businesses and like different clothing and equestrian outfits and stuff like that. And I was like,
so, I think a lot of, and COVID kind of brought some of this on too, but like the online market is just really dominated. So these businesses can start up from anywhere.
Yeah.
And your local tax shops are taking a big hit. They also don't want to conform. I know our local tax shop doesn't want to conform as much either. They are resistant because they don't like change,
Right.
And this isn't unique to just tax shops, but, I think that a lot of bigger brands, Baker is another one that actually just did a really big, a larger scale collaboration with a apparel brand that has gone really well. And I haven't heard from Baker in so long. Like you haven't seen anything from them marketing wise in a really long time.
True. Yeah.
Because they don't do it.
People just know
They
like,
just
oh
know.
yeah, like my sheets and blankets from there, like they're the ones I take to the horse shows. They look really nice.
Right.
Whatever. But it was definitely a word of mouth thing. And you see them and you're like, oh, that's nice. And that person that has one,
Right.
At shows and you're like, oh, I hope I'm going to save money. I'm going to get one. But you're right. Like I haven't really seen any social media presence or any kind of ads that are like, oh, I need one of those.
Right. And that's the thing is like, they're banking on people seeing them at horse shows and the top level competitors, using them and all of those things. But the part of this, that's kind of challenging is that like other competitors know this too. Like they know that, they're up against Baker and they're up against, that stigma or that word of mouth, thing. So what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, well, I'm just going to hit the social media side really hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit the marketing side really hard. And then next thing you know, their brand is on the top of, on the top competitors' horses, like, because they've hit social media so hard, they've done the research, they've done the work. Well, now they're beating them in sales or now they're like a really high competitor. So like, that's just what's going to continuously keep happening to these brands. And so there's always going to be somebody that's going to be right at your toes competing for that spot. Right.
Yeah.
So, when I talk about, marketing in general, obviously we're just gonna be talking about equestrian marketing because that's the podcast, but it's really unique. It's because if you look at marketing outside of the horse world, it's vastly different. So if you look at, like I just did a video recently about equestrian apparel brands, how they all have, it's literally unbelievable. They all have the same content.
Yeah.
You can't set them apart. You don't know whose brand is whose.
It's a girl on a horse.
Girl on a
walking
horse,
slow-mo.
It's the same shit, right? So it's just, you look at it and I think that I approach my marketing from a consumer's point of view. Consumer point of view, if I as a consumer am trying to decipher whose shirt it is or whose brand it is,
it's too hard.
It's too difficult. There's too many decisions. There's too many options. There's too many decisions. Nothing is differentiating between the next.
Right.
And I just completely scroll past it. It's not engaging. It is not interesting to me.
Yeah.
Nothing is like, there's nothing there for me.
Yeah.
Right. So
do you feel like that is to equestrian clothing
specific?
No. Or like saddles and, like what like, do you see an area of the equestrian world that does it well and others that do it poorly, or is it just across the board? Just equestrian marketing is
no, for sure. So, there are brands that do it really well. There are brands that are getting better. So for example, like if you go outside of the commercial world, you look at like cookies, for example. So like, Crumble is like probably at the top, right? Yeah. You look at their marketing and what they've done, and then you look at like a Taylor chip, or then you look at like Insomnia cookies, or then you look at like, you go through, there's
treats.
Hundreds of cookie companies, right? Not a single brand looks the same. Not a single one. They all have super strategically different marketing tactics, but it's all the same product, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all cookies.
It's all cookies.
Yeah.
But it's like same thing with like equestrian apparel. Well, yeah, it's an equestrian shirt. They might have different patterns or different fabrics or like cuts or whatever, but it's all the same, right?
Yeah.
So why would you not want to differentiate,
the way you market
I think Horse Pilot is one. Let me look up. I'm pretty sure that's who I am like super obsessed with. So they just did an editorial. I think it was a while ago, but so their past stuff is way better to me than their more recent things. But they have things like, they're traveling into like,
oh, that's beautiful.
Going and spending the time and spending the money on, yes, they have the slow-mo jumping stuff, but they did a really big editorial campaign like in the desert. Mm-hmm. And it was, aesthetically just absolutely jaw-dropping. It was so beautiful. Stopped me immediately because I was like, oh my God. But then what that did was
make you look into what it was.
Made me look into what it was. And I did not forget that. I didn't forget it. And now every time I see that logo, every time I see that brand, I think of that
picture.
I think of that entire editorial that they did. And I think of that feeling, that emotion, that sheer beauty that
it's taking a picture and a brand that makes it an experience.
Yeah.
That's what's selling.
Yeah.
You sell an experience.
That's what a brand is. You're creating a feeling, selling an experience. Right. So, and I think that while these equestrian apparel brands are probably thinking they're trying to do that. So I'm not shitting on anyone, but I'm just saying that,
they're trying to sell like a winning rider brand, like that's their move, but that's everybody else's move too.
Right. And I think too that they are and this happens all the time with businesses, is that you become so close to your business that you can't see the consumer's perspective and you can't really connect with the consumer because all you can focus on is selling the product. And so if you have the ability to step outside of that mindset and really think of you're seeing this for the first time and how would you see it and that's why, getting input from people that, whether your husband or people that are in your field that know know the sport and, talk to me about what you feel when you see this. What do you think about, what is it? All of those inputs are really important.
It's like not surveys, but like where they like sit people in a room and they like try a Cheeto and they're like, oh, I like this flavor, I don't, or whatever.
Right. And obviously like you have to know your target demographic in order to sell to them too. Yeah. You have to understand them really well, what they like, what they don't like, what hits home for them. So yeah, I think all of these things are really, really important when it comes to creating a successful editorial campaign marketing strategy.
Yeah.
So I think that again, and equestrian brands also just want to sell the shit out of their product. Right. And I have struggled with this with clients. They just continuously want to push product. And I just separated from a client because I just felt like I love your product, but this will never work and you'll never reach your full potential if you just continuously keep going down this path.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. And I've worked on this for a year, and I've tried to, you know, do my best to show you the way, and it's just not a good fit, and that's okay. But I feel like in order to find success, you have to get uncomfortable and push outside of what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And I think there's just a lot of fear surrounding that when it comes to being a brand. And I know I am a brand. I understand that feeling. You know, when you're a national brand, it's even scarier.
Yeah.
And the internet's a scary place, you know, like I understand.
People are judgmental one way or the other.
Very judgy. And I think that it's very scary brands are scared to find themselves on the other side of a controversy or backlash or something like that. So I get it. Like,
yeah. Well, you look at Tesla. I mean,
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of brands that have really been in a lot of heat, and, you know, like, but there's like, from a PR perspective, there's always like, you always want people talking about you.
Yeah.
Right?
So they say, like, what is it that not all publicity is bad or something?
Yeah. So I guess really the takeaway from all of this is that the way that we can get out of this spiral is brands just hiring me.
Of course.
I'm just kidding.
Kelly Berry, KB Media Equine, everyone.
I'm just kidding. No, but seriously. But I think any small or large brand can really benefit from really having an ideation session of thinking outside of the box and really focusing on the story of the brand. And sometimes when we bring new clients on, it's not always obvious yes, every brand has a story, but it's not always obvious of like what direction to go in or who to really speak to or how to do it. And creatively, it's endless of ways that you can express a brand or visualize it or, you know, make it come to life. And I think that at the end of the day, I think that's where people get stuck, is that they just don't know where to go. They just follow what's been done before them because it worked for them. Exactly. Because a lot of the time, the owners of these brands, they're sometimes creatives, but just not creatives in that way. Or they're really more business people and they rely on creatives to kind of guide them. And I think that, you know, following, as we've talked about before, you know, following the trends and following the templates that people have laid out for you, of people that have already done it, it's an easier thing to do than forge your own path, you know? So I just really encourage any brand owner and not just apparel, any horse product, you know, there's major feed companies that we've shot for and some, you know, whether they do social media or they don't do it at all. You know, there's huge brands that don't do social media at all. Yeah. And it's crazy to me. And the reason they don't do it is, you know, variety of reasons, whether it be ROI or, you know, tracking it or all of those things, you know, like we could go down a rabbit hole about each one of them. But I just think at the end of the day, it's something that's foreign. Yeah. And it's new. It's new. And it's something that they just don't want to tackle. It's such a generational change too. And unfortunately, you know, as we get older, we're like, oh, like the music's not the same. And we judge, you know, college kids for wearing what they wear or whatever. But at the end of the day, like things are changing and we need to change with them. And it's, you know, adapt or die society kind of thing. 100%. And I think too that the first thing that I do when I find a brand, I go to their Instagram. That is the first thing I do. Very true. I mean, that's like it's like a no-brainer. Yeah. And if you are not spending money in social media or content creation or organic social, I mean, relevancy. It doesn't hit. Yeah. I will say that too. Like, you know, I'll see a product or somebody will tell me about something and I'll go to their Instagram. And if there's not one, it's like an automatic, like, meh. Or even if there is one and it's like, you know, iPhone content. Yeah. It's like they put no effort into it. Yeah. It's all about aesthetics, like for me. Like if it looks aesthetically pleasing, I'm like, I want to look like that. Yeah. Or I want my house to look like that. It's all about first impressions. And I think that's where in the digital age, that's where brands in the equestrian world are falling short and they don't understand that, you know, a first impression is you can't ever get it back, right? Like, you know, a client comes to your Instagram feed and they're like, okay, well, there's a brand that does something like very similar, and they are, you know,
falls flat.
Well, yeah, but no, they're rocking it on social. They have storylines, they have connections, they have life to their content and their social. They 9 times out of 10 will go with that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
Yeah.
And whether that's a conscious thing, subconscious, it doesn't matter. Because it's just like going into a new restaurant, you know, like you're like, oh, I'm going to try this new restaurant. You go, you sit down and you look over and you see a cockroach crawling on the ground.
Like you're never going to go back there. Like, you're not going to try it again.
I'm like, nope.
Or you go to some like really highly talked about new place that's opening and the service sucks and you don't ever go back because of that one experience that you had in the very beginning, because it just didn't catch the hype. Yeah.
Or you have to be really, really convinced to go back.
Yeah.
Like really convinced.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that it is. It's the same. It's equivalent. It's just a virtual experience and a real, you know, like an in-person experience. And I think that the horse community just has to start really focusing on their virtual experiences, because if they don't, they're just going to fall flat.
Yeah.
You know?
One last thing before we wrap up. Yeah. If you're going to be selling a product, so let's just say, for instance, your Equestrian Adult Amateur shirt that says Amateur AF, which is for sale, by the way, you guys. Like I am not a salesperson. But so if you were going to market a product, like let's say your shirt, what's the best way to reach clients in an apparel market, let's just say, without giving away too much of your business techniques?
Yeah.
If you want her, hire her. But
so expensive and worth a lot. So what would I do to market it?
Yeah, like what would make me pull that off the shelf and buy it?
What would make you pull off the shelf and buy it would be essentially creating my Equestrian Adult Amateur skit. Like I created that storyline so that really I could have a jumping off point for like selling merch or selling something like that. So I would incorporate that into the storyline.
Okay.
I would incorporate it into the storyline. I would not push it so much. You know, I wouldn't be like, here's the shirt, like buy it. You know, I would incorporate it more into the storyline and create a character around it, as I already have.
Yeah.
That would wear something like this.
Right.
Right. So you're speaking directly to that person
without being, it's like selling something without being super obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's nothing worse than like being sold to.
No.
So I get what you're saying. So you're saying like literally like make it a part of the story, but don't make it
Don't make it
the only thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's always been the issue with it's not just equestrian. It's a lot of brands. A lot of brands. They just want to sell, and that's all they feel comfortable doing. And you know, that's totally fine. Not a problem. But that is why people will turn their content off, is because they feel the minute a consumer feels like they're being sold to, they're going to turn it off. And so you might as well just not even make it. Yeah. Because it's truly pointless. I think there is a time and a place for sales content. If you are running a promotion, if you are, you know, doing a Mother's Day sale or something, like, of course, like you have to inform your customer and client on like what's going on in your business. Always. Like
in a very like obvious, frank way.
Right. Yeah. Like in a salesy, pitchy way. Right.
Yeah.
But if every single post you're putting out is just continuously sales-based content, no one will ever, and that's the other thing that people don't understand about social media, is that it's a giant game of chess, right? Like, so it's not only the content creation part and selling your product, but then you have to create content that is going to be engaging enough to rank high enough on the algorithm so that the algorithm will push it out to more people.
Right.
So it's not even like, I think sometimes when we have these conversations with clients, they think that like, oh, well, you know, I don't know what they think, but they feel as if either the content is
not obvious enough.
Probably
not obvious enough.
You know, they're not talking about the product enough, or, you know, whatever. But the catch to that is that we can put out salesy product focused content, but no one will ever see it. Like no one's ever going to see the content because
no one's going to watch it long enough.
No one's going to watch it long enough. And therefore the algorithm will not push it out to anybody.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it is.
True.
So you have to be smarter than the algorithm. You have to kind of outthink it and sell in a way that's going to be engaging and entertaining and exciting for people to want to
being sold
it.
to without being sold to. Like I will definitely say there is an equestrian product, like now that we're thinking about it, that I do actually buy for my horses. But since buying it, like it's just, you start to see their product more, right? Because I bought it and they send me all the emails and all this stuff. And it's just so like obvious. It's like literally a picture of the product.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, joint health or, you know, whatever. And that's it.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. It's a picture of the product.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a horse on it.
Right.
And it's like, buy it. And I'm just like, you know, I buy it because I'm anxious and I think it's going to help my horse. So I do it, but like, it's not because of the marketing at all.
Yeah.
Maybe it got me in once, but it's ever since then, like, it's not like I send it to people and think like, oh wow, this is great. You know?
No. And marketing has just lost the value side. Like nobody wants to add value anymore. No one wants to make their customer's life better, you know, by consuming their content or purchasing their product. Like they just want to sell.
Right.
It is a selfish sell all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what the problem is in terms of not just any, you know, not just
that's probably how it used to be, you know, when there wasn't social media, there was only, I have to get my product out there and get it visual,
right?
You know, billboards,
right?
You know, commercials, whatever, but there was no, you know, there was no far reach, and now you have to reach a lot further. Yeah. And you have to go towards algorithms and getting your content.
And I mean, you think about like companies like Red Bull.
Yeah.
Like when do you ever see like a Red Bull?
Never. Like
never.
Like their product is never sold as like, drink this.
No.
Here's a picture of it.
Never.
It is an experience. It is like, oh wow, like look at that kite surfer doing all this crazy stuff. And Red Bull gives you wings.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that. And they're like, I should try that.
Yeah. Everybody knows Red Bull.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I mean, there's so many brands that are like that, you know, that, you know, you actually never really see the product. Like you're only really seeing the people and the stories and the experiences that they're having. So, yeah.
This has been like really enlightening.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't know anything about marketing whatsoever. And being your friend for a very long time, I've always known that you are great at it. And I've always question exactly what you do for a living.
Yeah, like what do you do for work?
Like I know that you know, use your camera and your videos and your content is beautiful, but I'm always like, what is she making? Because I don't know where products start. Yeah. And I think it's important that you were here to share like how products are starting and then where they need to go to keep up and how to get sold and, you know, where to be in the future as the future is coming. So thank you for explaining everything and
anytime,
you know, really getting, you guys really need to hire her. I'm not kidding. Like just because I'm her best friend, she shot my wedding. She is incredible. Her talents and her ideas, and she works freaking hard. Like this girl works at midnight all the time.
Well,
so
gotta hustle, you know?
The hustle is real.
Hustler.
Oh my God.
Thanks, guys. If you guys have any questions.
Yeah, no, keep going. Sorry.
No, if you guys have any questions, always feel free, reach out, connect. Also, we switched up the style this time.
Yeah. Do you guys like
the style?
The more formal chair atmosphere?
I think it's a vibe for me.
Like chair and table atmosphere. I mean, I like being comfy. I like looking around.
Yeah,
you know.
Same. I like this better.
I'm feeling the vibe. So you guys, I just want to leave you with one last thing. I'm in a mood today. Bye.
Bye. Well, friends, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Adult Amateurs Guidebook Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the discussion as always, and be sure to like and subscribe for more real and authentic conversations about the struggles and triumphs of balancing life and horses. Until next time, cheers to adulting and happy riding, friends.